All right, well, today we're going to do something fun. I'm going to do something I almost never do, which is just go off and paint. I was trying to find something and some inspirations, or just, sometimes people send you pictures. Sometimes you can use pictures and sit down and create something of your own. But you know what? That wasn't working out today. So I'm just going to start putting paint on the canvas. Oh, this is definitely not something I recommend doing, but I'm just doing it today because sometimes you got to paint. And just don't do this. Bad idea. But now you've got something to look at, right? You can copy mine, so you don't have to do what I'm doing. I'm the one taking the risk here. Risk, of course, being that the composition doesn't turn out right at all. So there you go. Okay, well, I stopped the cameras now. I just started them again because, I made a mistake here. Wasn't paying attention. I was trying to put black in my paint, but I put just a little bit too much. So we've got no plan today. So I'm just going to go with it. I'm not going to delete it, which I could. You could take a baby wipe or a shop towel or something, wipe it off, put your blue sky back over it. Blue and red, of course, not just blue. But you know what? I'm going to embrace the freestyle nature of this painting today, and I'm going to work with it. Now, if you'd like to see the entire thing, you can actually go over on Patreon. Now, at the time that this video is posted, maybe a week or so later that the actual video is up on Patreon. I don't know, because sometimes it takes me extra time. But I am recording this whole thing for Patreon if you're interested. Well, we sure have a storm cloud coming through today. I think, we need some more up here. This is really wild. There's some red that's just happening. This could be one of my better paintings or one of the worst that I've done in a while. It's just got no composition. Wow. Okay, that's something, isn't it? Well, let's take a small brush and let's just keep painting. I'm just gonna grab some light color, some blue and white. I'm just gonna begin to, scumble in some clouds or something. I want more gray. I'm loving the gray. I don't know why. Gray, cold, stormy. I almost had too much blue. So I'm going to play with this color scheme that sort of accidentally happened. And let's do this. This is so crazy. Absolutely wild. Totally wild. I don't know what else to say. We don't want to mess it up. That's for sure. We don't want to mess it up. I think it's absolutely hilarious how the skies turned out, given just the random nature of it. Anyway, let's go ahead and mix up some color here. And again, if you want to see the whole thing, I'm recording it for Patreon. There we go. Okay, up here, are we going to ruin our just beautiful little sky? Now, when I look at it here, I can't see much of it. In other words, it just kind of looks like a grayish blob. But when I look down here in the camera, it looks like a sky with a lot of beautiful little details and nuances. And so I'm actually going to use the monitor down here to look, and I can tell better where do I want to put my little highlights. See, at first I'm thinking, well, am I even going to want highlights? I mean, maybe I don't want highlights. Maybe it just is what it is. Maybe that's a little too dark. Maybe there's a lot of choices to make. Oh no, look how easily this sticks. Why does it stick that easy? Somebody comment down below. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to go check the comments. There we go. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Kind of pretty. I see a little sunlight. It's not sky necessarily, but it's a little bit opening up from behind that cloud. You see it? Did you see it? There we go. I see it now. It's not all that bright. Because it's not supposed to look like open sky. It's just supposed to look like a little lighter layer of cloud. Got a little red in that brush from the last painting. There. It's kind of pretty. Take this as far as you like. Now, ordinarily here, I would just, I'd probably do my sketching off camera just for the Patreon version, but I'm actually going to do my sketching here with you because I haven't done it already ahead of time on paper. So I have no idea, literally no clue not looking at a mountain. We've got no pictures of mountains anywhere around here. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Where do I want my mountain? Well, I like my clouds over here. Over here's blank, so we're gonna put it over here. It's easy. Pretty easy decision. I could have it down here. It could be a tiny little mountain, but I don't think I want that. I think I wanna go way up here. Do I wanna cross into that? No. I don't think I wanna cross into the dark. I think I want it to be under the dark. Okay, now I'm literally not thinking, and I'm just putting strokes in. Just to see what might happen. And after I put a few strokes in, then I'll look at it, evaluate, okay, do I begin to see a mountain shape appearing or not? And then from that, I would work on it, try to get it working better. So again, just sketching. You could sketch with white, black, doesn't really matter. I'm just sketching with white right now. Dirty white, not pure white, of course. My mountains always slope in on the side, so I know that, so that's easy. Don't have to worry about that. May have an evergreen over there, may not. Okay, that's pretty neat. Do we want to have a valley? You know what? I'm just thinking here out loud. What if we did? Would that look weird though? Let's do another mountain over here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I was gonna say what I was thinking about was perhaps doing like cutting that area off with trees coming through. I don't know. Don't know. Maybe not. I put a little walnut oil in there just to help it slide. There we go. Well, I'm just putting paint on the canvas. Let's see what happens. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect at all. We don't even know where we're going yet. We're just going, aren't we? Okay, right up in here, some paint there. So we're going there too. There, mountainous terrain. It's looking kind of like a regular mountain, I guess, which is, it's a good start. Good start, isn't it? There's some of our white and just a little mud that's already in the brushes. Fine. It's very gray painting today. And so we're going to stick with some of these gray colors. And that is fine. You know, if you don't like the gray color scheme, do something else. You don't have to paint the gray color scheme. Purposely trying to make it kind of gray. Just because I felt like I haven't done those colors in a while. And I've intended to just to change a flavor. A lot of what I paint is very colorful. And it is good to do different things. Just is. Keep that soft and in the background. It may be worthwhile, of course, taking a blender brush to some of that. What do you think? Perhaps. Not sure that I really care for that, but we'll blend it away if I don't like it, right? Blend it away. And really just taking my time, creating all these little valleys, ridges. So, you know, you can make all kinds of choices when you do this. You really always constantly, whether you have a sketch or not, you're always constantly making choices. How you want your mountain to be shaped, or else it's kind of shaping itself, which is what's happening now as the brush just wanders through the painting. I'm seeing these blobs, you know, one or two blobs will start to look like something, and then I'll go in and I'll work with that. There we go. But again, I don't see anything. So you're like, well, I don't know where to start. I don't either. I'm just going to start right there because it was empty. Well, about 3 minutes after I stopped the last clip, I decided to get the blender brush out, put a little cloud there. And you know what? I liked it. And I continued to paint. Now, let me know in the comments if you think I've overdone it. I don't know. But what I do know is I have softened and created a much more integrated mountain. There. And you have to admit it's more integrated. Now, is that a bad thing or a good thing? Probably a good thing. I'm going to take the face of this mountain here and just pop it out with a little bit more color to unintegrate it just a little bit from the background. But you'll see those mountains, which I knew I wanted to blend away. I hit them quite extensively there with that blender brush, and it totally just they just lost them in the mist on purpose. I did it slowly and carefully, you know, and then as soon as I got to the desired effect, I stopped. But now I'm going to come back and crisp up some of these edges where the clouds, where we can see the mountains kind of peeking through the clouds a little better. You know, I just think it's more interesting. You don't have to. You know, and do some wiggles and things that are going, of course, also in the opposite direction. But yeah, this is creating to me just a nice little look of and of course we can do shadow snow, of a little gray on that. Not too much blue, because where's the blue coming from? Snow is not blue, is it? So we just kind of go more gray. It would be blue if we had a blue sky. So I'm just going to paint in some of those snow-capped top areas. Anyway, you can see where I'm going with it. This is ridiculous. Not 60 seconds after I turn off all the cameras, I have this crazy idea. You want to see it? Well, you can already see it, can't you? I was looking at the mountain thinking, okay, that's bright, that's dark, this is kind of bright. So I thought, okay, what if I left this, because I was actually going to brighten that up. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to put a big, giant, bright spot right behind that cloud. You can see where I'm going with this. If it doesn't make sense yet, I think it will here in just a moment, but I wanted to make sure I showed you. Of course, the entire thing, boom, will be available later on Patreon. Look how pretty that is. Okay, now, again, I've wiped this area off with a shop towel earlier, so I'm pretty well safe. But look at this. I can take my little detail brush. I don't like doing sun rays while wet, but this is definitely an abnormal day. Don't want to go wild with it, but I just want to pick up a little bit of that paint if I can. I just want it to feel like, let me go a little more on my blend. My poor detail round brush. It's taking one for the team. Don't paint like this with your brand new nice detail round brushes. Just being so delicate with it. Yeah, I'll maybe need to work on these a little more, but I just wanted to show you. I didn't want to skip it. I wanted you to see what I was up to. Just gonna give myself, I think that one, I don't like I said, I don't like doing sun rays while wet. I can do them. I don't like it. So now I'm just gonna move forward here in this painting. Mostly just a little bit of white, a little bit of blue, red, not much though, because I want to keep it pretty gray to fit the theme of the painting. Just a little bit, not much. There we go. That seems pretty good. We'll give that a try. And you know what? I can also use just a little bit of walnut oil. I cleaned off my clear gel already, but the walnut oil is fine. Just the tiniest half a drop. And that's just going to allow me to kind of sketch and paint here at the same time without it being too crazy. There we go. Now, what kind of a landscape do we want? I don't know yet. We're going to figure this out together. I kind of don't want, I just don't know if I really want water per se back in here. I was planning not to, but maybe we could have a glacier kind of a thing swoop through here, light filtering through, lots of little trees. We got our mist. Perhaps I just want to bring that out. Of course, this is a dry canvas, no medium. Maybe we want to bring a slope. But what do we need? What is our feature? Okay, I see right here, perhaps a kind of like a drop off. See my sketch there? That all of a sudden to me looked like a bit of a drop off, like an overhang. Let's do that. Let's turn that into an overhang or something like so. Just to make that kind of interesting. Now we got a valley or something like that. Could be cool. We could have some, beautiful snow clinging to the sides. Again, this needs to, we'll put small trees on it so that it looks proper. So it looks small, distant. As far as we got the little valley, and then on this side, I don't know. What do I want? I may just go ahead and do a little river, because it just sure is screaming for a little frozen river back here. Now I'm introducing just a little bit of walnut oil to this mix At least not much of a mix, it's just white. You can see how carefully I'm dipping into the walnut oil because I don't want much. I just want enough just to make that paint feel a little easier to put on the canvas. So right over here, I'm starting with, I said I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm doing it because I feel like it's in the end going to be a good thing. I'm just gonna create the boundaries right now. This is actually not the water, this is the boundaries of the water. Because this is a snow landscape. In a snow landscape, your water is actually not. See, if this was a landscape, I'd begin with some real bright colors back there for water. But this is actually, because it's, I may have misspoke, but did I say summer or snow? I might have said snow again. Anyway, I'm focusing on what I'm doing. Come on now. I'm trying to make this up. I'm juggling a lot, but that's okay. Now I'm going to work on some of our background trees, getting them established. Before I go too far, I may want to indicate just, by sketching here, a couple of my trees, which are going to live on this little slope, and maybe indicate them just like so. Wouldn't hurt. What this is doing is, because I don't have a drawing to say, oh, I know I got a tree going here and here. This is basically more or less just going to be that for me. So I want to establish, okay, I've got a tree here, and figure out the landscape before I go filling in a whole bunch of this here. What if I brought a big tree over it? I don't know yet. I haven't decided. Somebody's yelling at their screen, don't do that. Well, it's not your painting. There we go. Let's just throw in some trees here. I'll give you a tip. The tip is stop the trees at different heights. Some come down further than others, and that will make it so much more interesting. Let's go a little bit more solid there. Yeah, maybe that one comes down. I don't know. There, we have options. Kind of a bump. Surely there's a little tree living on that bump. There is now. Kind of hard to avoid it now. There we go. Nice. Put the paint on a little too thick there. We'll see how that works. That'll probably work out okay. All the colors will mush together. It's all pretty much the same color, the whole painting. Coming down here. Well, I like that, but maybe right here I'll put one. I'm going to use the fan brush here because I think it'll just help things go a little bit more quickly. That's the only reason why I'm using it, really. Yep, I'm going to make things go a little more quickly. I'm just going to drop in these various trees. You can see I've spent some time over here just developing this forest. Pretty straightforward stuff that you've certainly seen me before. But yeah, really not any different. The way I've painted my trees, has really changed through the years though, hasn't it? Now, I just sort of smush them on like that. I certainly wasn't doing this 10, 15 years ago. Nope. But I am now. Now I'm aware I'm creating more work for myself, but that's okay. That's okay. I was just sitting back here again, just making up the painting, and I feel like it's kind of similar to what I have done in the past. So, that's probably a byproduct of making it up, right? Just on the spot, is you kind of default to something that maybe you've already done. I'm going to change it though. I'm sitting back here thinking, okay, what can I do to make this different? Well, here's something I can do to make it different. I'm going to paint a little village back here. I've never done that before in a winter scene like this. In the distance, a little village. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take my colors, all just the same old colors. But I'm just going to, paint in a couple little houses. Don't worry I'm just getting the houses located. If I screw up the perspective, you just have to ignore me for a moment. And then come back and I'll have the perspective fixed. And you can watch me mess with it on the Patreon version. Oh no. Yeah, I'll fix it if it needs to be fixed. Boom. Okay, so I'm just working on, let's do it. Let's do a couple little houses back here. I might even just grab a little teeny touch of my yellow ochre to warm up that side there, just a little. Yeah, just a little. I gotta be careful where the light's really coming from behind, so I think that's probably needs to be darkened a bit. Like so, yeah, because I don't want it to look weird. Now I'm going to go ahead and just mix up a quick color here. Nothing, I know I have burnt umber in it, but nothing too crazy. I don't want it to be too bright or weird looking, a little red even. Not too much, because I can always add more, always go brighter. I don't want it to feel distracting. You know, I want it to fit within the painting. And I've got a little walnut oil in it. You don't have to, I rarely do, but I've been mixing a little more walnut oil in this particular painting, just because I want to. Right up in here. I'm going to just begin to bring in some of these. Looks like an old log cabin or something. Now, obviously I went from dark to kind of medium light, but I'm gonna wanna go back to my very darks when I'm finished and put in the cracks and bumps and details. In fact, I can go ahead and take my, mainly black really. Black is a good contrast color. If you missed my last video, you should go check it out. Boom, as I talk about black. Okay, that's kind of pretty. And then basically what I want to do is, again, thin that just with a little bit of oil. And I want to just bring in some of my beautiful and ridges and broken spots. Well, I'm very slowly but surely getting somewhere. This, I was gonna say barn, this building is just a little too plain, and I'm looking at it, I'm like not totally sure why, it just feels too plain for me. Not the biggest fan, but here's one thing I'm going to do that I think I'm going to, you know, I think it's going to make it a lot better. Let me carefully put my stick up here. So I've got my brush and I'm going to put a ladder on here. You're like, what? Yep, just a small one. What if the owner of the house, the old shack, little winter base camp shack, has an old ladder that's just sort of standing up here. I'll put a shadow on it later, but I just want to get the highlight in because you can see the highlight. I don't know if you'll be able to see the shadow. But imagine an old ladder sitting out here. Kind of cool. Of course, it's covered in a bit of snow and frost. Yeah, an old ladder. That's kind of neat. I kind of like that. It's just debris. You know me, I like the stick. Ever since I painted with Marion Dutton, I've been using my little stick. As my little stick slips off. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but just a little something there. Then I can take fill it in. Just so that it's, I know it looks just silly, but give me a few minutes and it won't look silly. I just needed, so much needed to have something on here. Just, it was feeling too just blank. I don't like a house that just sits out there blank. Don't let me forget to do the chimney as well, because that will help it. But yeah, they're kind of buried in the snow up there a little bit. Anyway, I like it. What do you think? Does that improve it? Doesn't hurt it. Doesn't hurt it. Now I'm going to finish up just putting a couple of details here, even on this little chimney. Everything's pretty oily at this point. If you ever get a painting too oily, you can always let it dry and finish it the next day. No big deal. But I'm just, for the sake of the painting here, going to put a little bit of detail on the chimney, so it's got some texture. This was a little flat. Yeah, that's already looking a little better. And then maybe just a couple of little dark lines just to indicate some of the brickwork here and there on the chimney. Is that better? I'm not sure. Here's some red. Has some brick red. But I'm sticking with the gray tone, so I don't want to use the word struggling, but like I feel less confident with my color tones. So it's taking me a little longer to do this. But it's good to push yourself. I'm more confident with brighter, more flavorful colors. I'm less confident with more muted colors. And that makes sense, because that's what I like to do, is the sunlight, beautiful light colors. So to try to represent sunlight in beautiful colors without beautiful colors is interesting. There we go. Okay, that yellow ochre was all it needed, really, just to spice it up. All right, well, that wraps things up for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out our Patreon, our paints and brushes and full-length lessons. Of course, the links are in the description down below. Thanks for watching. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe if you're not already, and click the like button. That helps me out a lot. Stick around, watch a couple more videos, and stay inspired.